What is going on, challengers? Happy day number 3. Welcome to Keepa day number 2. There are going to end up being 3 days of Keepa. So buckle up. I know that day 1 may have felt a little overwhelming. There's a lot of information packed into the Google Chrome extension. And I know that we didn't really talk about like how to read the charts. We talked a little bit. We talked about sales rank, we talked about price history and things like that. But I promise, bear with me, because we're gonna wrap it all together when we start doing some sourcing and things like that. Okay. So I promise it'll all make sense. Okay. And feeling like things are overwhelming is very, very normal. All right. So I do want to reemphasize, if you remember back to day number 1, we talked about the 30 for 30 framework. Well, the things that we learn during Keepa's day 1 and 2, and as we start sourcing and things like that, these are some of the perfect things to put into our 30 for 30 framework. Like, what are we going to work on for 30 days for 30 minutes a day? There may be no better skill than to hone the skill of reading and understanding Keepa graphs, messing with filters and things like that. All right. So we're going to be going over a lot of stuff today. I would imagine that a lot of you are going to um, have a lot of questions tonight. Fortunately, this is the very first OA challenge where I don't do small group coaching at all. It is all just it's these lives. So we can go as long as we absolutely need to. Okay. Now let's go ahead and dive in. Let me just change some things around here. Oh, and last reminder, if you guys have questions tonight, please make sure that you use the hashtag ask. That way it makes it nice and easy for me to pull out as I go back through things. All right. And I see one question already, so I'm going to pop this one up here. Do I need to pay the monthly fee to better understand Keep It tonight? Yes, it would be a good idea to pay for at least 1 month. I I sent you an email back, Brian. Um, and I'm going to tell you guys this now, and I think I said it night number 1 as well. You're going to end up seeing several tools over the course of the OA challenge that are paid. There are also going to be some free tools. All right. Like Rev ROI is free. Uh, b- um, there's several others. And then there's going to be other tools that are paid. Seller Amp is paid, and uh, Ace and Gadget is paid, and a few others. Okay. There are no tools that you absolutely need to buy. Now, in my opinion, a lot of these tools will just make your life easier. And I was actually noting to my friend Steve today, he listed out his monthly software stack, and he's running about $880 a month in OPEX, or operating expenditures, for his business when it comes to his software stack. He's doing $5 million a year in sales. Now, I don't know what his margins are, but I know that they're healthy margins. Matter of fact, when someone asked him about his margins, I loved his answer. He was like, "Here's a picture of my house. I'm doing okay." And I loved that. But it reminded me that there was a time when I used to help run an insurance agency. And at its peak, that insurance agency collected about $5 million a year in premium. And we got, on average, about 13% of that as commissions. So a much smaller number than the 5 million collected. And the rent alone on the little office space that we had, that was around 1,300 square feet, was around $1,350 a month just for rent. That didn't include the couple $100 a month in phone lines, the T1 access for a couple $100 a month, the commissions that had to be paid to the other agents, and so on. So like it's pretty amazing how lean we can run these businesses. So, um, yeah. He does have a mortgage, but still, and it wasn't that fancy. It's not a super fancy house, just a very nice house. But I did like it. Uh, it was a solid comeback. All right. So we're going to talk about Keepa.com tonight. Keepa, the extension, has a ton of tools that are available. And the extension alone is worth the 20 some dollars a month. Most people don't even know about Keepa.com and all the things that it can do. And if you go to Keepa.com and you go to their homepage, like they really undersell what they can do. They let you know that they've got price history charts. They let you know that there's price drop and availability alerts with a screenshot that is like 10 years old. They let you know you can see international Amazon prices and that you can see some daily deals. And that's it. They don't tell you anything else. You got to figure out everything else on your own. And they don't ever update these announcements. This announcement is from like October of 2024, but they do give you some kind of cool information over here. Keepa is monitoring 5.4 billion products across all of these Amazon marketplaces. 1.295 billion products in the US marketplace alone. Now, down here, they do tell you a little bit more. They tell you about the premium data access, which we're going to talk about tonight. They tell you about the product finder. They let you know there's a product viewer, a bestseller and top seller list, but they give you very little information. There's really just not much to go on here. Okay. And that's fine. Okay. And their monthly subscription is 19 euro per month. I don't know what that is in American dollars, but it's not super expensive. Can you pay them more? Yeah, absolutely. Because technically, you're supposed to have a subscription for every person who uses it in your business. So if you have virtual assistants or something like that, you can also pay for API access if you're doing maybe building a little piece of software or want to hook it up to your Google Sheets or something like that. So, great. It's about $21, 22 bucks. That's perfect. All right. So, um, it is absolutely worth every single penny. Now, before we move on from this page, a couple things that you should know. One, you can change the language of this of the page. You can change the language to all of these ones here. All right. Um, so, if you speak German, you speak Japanese, you speak Chinese or German or sorry, Spanish, whatever it is, you can choose from one of those languages that they support. You can also choose different locations. Now, we're going to be dealing in the .com, but these features are available in all of these other locations. You can look them up on Canada, Mexico, Brazil, the UK, Germany, France, Italy, Spain, Japan, and India. They do not support Brazil, or sorry, they do not support Australia. They don't support, like South Africa, where they just went live, or Amazon just went live. So there, it doesn't cover every single marketplace. They used to cover Australia. They don't any longer. All right. And also from the homepage, you can go into your settings, your subscriptions. I'm not going to mess around with those. The settings is really what we looked at last night on the Keepa extension itself. The subscription, that's for you to be able to go in and change your level of subscription. So it's pretty self-explanatory. I don't really need to give you guys that information. All right. Now, I know that not everyone was able to make it earlier today to Saul's live with us. It was supposed to be about an hour and a half. Saul ended up going for, I believe, actually, let's take a look. I believe it was like 2.5 hours that he ended up going. The replay is already up in the replays channel inside of Discord. It was excellent. Okay. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about one of the things he talked about earlier today, which is the first section, the deals section. All right. This is where you can go and look for price drops if you want to do Amazon to Amazon flips. You could also look for price drops here if you want to buy something personally. Okay. Now, one thing that is different on my account that you may not have is you're going to notice that there is a Walmart feature right here. And it shows the Walmart price. Now, you may not have that because that comes with the free Flip Alert extension that Saul talked about earlier today. If you want to get that, you can. It's free, doesn't cost any money. It's part of their light plan. But I have it installed. You may not. And that means that you may not see the Walmart section. I didn't turn it off because I figured we would just come in here and it would be there. All right. Now we're going to talk about how to use this entire thing. I'm going to tell you what everything is. We'll look for flips very shortly. And then we're going to go on to all of the other sections because there's some really heavy stuff to get into. Okay. And honestly, I want to look at one really quick. Just take a look at something. Nope. Okay. Does not pique my interest as much as the average price did here. So, what you can do across here, number one, is you can view this as a table, which means it will come up and everything will look like this. You'll see the 1 day drop, the 7 day drop, 30-day drop, etc. Then you'll see the title, the sales rank, and all of this information. You can configure these columns to make them show what you want to see. Okay. That is one way to look at things. I don't particularly like this method personally. I like the product boxes. With the product boxes, it's going to give us a large image. It's going to give us the average price. It's going to give us the price that it is now. And then we can go in and we can click on it and we'll be able to open up the actual graph itself. I would much rather look at it that way, in my opinion. All right. But then we can also check into deal types. All right. So the very first one is a sales rank deal type. Now, what this is this shows you items that have gotten much better in sales rank. Not really something that we're super interested in if it comes to flips. Like, is that something we need to pay attention to? Yeah, sure. But is that something that we want to look at first? No, probably not. All right. So the next deal type is the buy box, and this includes the shipping cost. So if it is an MFer or a merchant fulfilled seller that's in the buy box, it will also include any shipping costs that may be in there. And you will be able to choose, the drop percentage, et cetera, and so on. And we'll talk about that all in just a minute. Okay. You can look for just deals from Amazon themselves. This means Amazon has to be the one where the price has dropped. So we looked at that tablecloth earlier. We can go in here and there's this book here and see what happened to the price. And that is all from Amazon themselves. We can also choose new. Now, you might remember from last night, new means that it can be from any seller in the new condition. It could be Amazon, it could be a third party FBA, or a third party MFer. Okay. And it would then be on us to figure out, do we want to buy from the FBA seller? Do we want to buy from Amazon themselves? Do we want to buy from third party MFers? My answer to that is I don't think I really want to deal with third party MFers. And Saul said he only does it like twice a year. All right. We can also look for deals from new third party FBA sellers. All right. And this even says up here deals may be outdated. This section contains third party offers with prime shipping. Okay. Prices listed below are for the lowest FBA price and can be found on the offers listing page. Right. You could go this route if you wanted to just buy from third party sellers. You just have to do a little bit of homework here and make sure that it's not going to be a private label product that you might get in trouble for. If you wanted to look at just new third party FBM sellers or merchant fulfilled sellers, including shipping, when that truck is there, that means it includes shipping. You could do that. All right. Again, probably not something you want to do if you're going to do Amazon to Amazon flips. We can look at new Prime exclusive. Now, here's the thing: you cannot flip using any Prime benefits. That means a Prime exclusive offer is going to be off limits for you. Okay. Not something you're going to want to do. All right. Um, just so you know. Okay. You cannot use any Prime benefits for Amazon to Amazon flips. Lightning deals. You can also look for lightning deals that are in here. These are also they have a separate terms of service, and in the lightning deals, you cannot buy those for resale. Now, could you sell them on eBay? Probably, okay, but again, Amazon is a technology company disguised as a retailer, and so I'm probably going to stay away from those, even to sell on other marketplaces. We can look for buy box used, including shipping. So if you wanted to look for some media that was used and resell it, you could. Okay. Uh, so for example, these kind of books always interest me. These kind of look like older sales books. Mail Order Guru from Ron Tepper. I believe I might remember him from some infomercials back in the early 90s. Now, this is not going to be something that I would actually flip. We're going to look at buy box used price, but we can see, oh, well, no, 1774 was where that used price was when it did last sell back in May. All right. But if you wanted to look for some used books to fulfill and do flips on, you could do that here. All right. You can look for just used. All right. This would also be a good place to look for used books. You can look for used like new, used very good, used acceptable. And then you go look at warehouse deals. In the warehouse deals, you can pull up new, used like new, very good, and used acceptable. This is really going to be something that you probably only want for personal purchases. Maybe you do it on a Walmart or an Amazon to eBay flip, but I'm probably not going to. I guarantee I'm not going to sell these back on Amazon in any kind of condition, not even used condition. All right. But for example, if I had a Grand Cherokee and I was in the market for some running boards, I might be willing to buy used like new to get that kind of deal. All right. I've had friends who've bought things out of here. They'll go into the electronic section and they've bought things like digital whiteboards for $300 that go for $4,000. So there's all kinds of cool things that you could get in here for yourself, for your business. Maybe you need something, you might be able to find it in here. All right. Can also buy refurbished. We can look for collectible, and we can look at the trade-in deals. And of course, there are no products there. Now, if you are going to do Amazon to Amazon flips using the deal section, I would suggest, and honestly, I'm just parroting Saul here. I would either suggest that you go with buy box, Amazon, or new. That's what I would suggest. Okay. So we can do some looking to see if we can find anything. I'm going to choose new. Okay. Then we can choose our limit drop interval, and you could do it by day. These are going to be all the items that have dropped in price just today. So it's going to miss out on a whole lot. These are going to be items that dropped in price the past week. All right. So average price is $44.29 over the past week. Right now, this particular clothing item is $8.99. We can also look over the past month if we want to. So the past month, the average price on this Buddy Guy CD is $35.87. Right now, it's $7.31 on this item. Okay. Again, parroting Saul. If you're going to look here, you're probably going to want to spend the time in the month section. There are some times when Amazon will stair step the price down. We'll probably come across one of those where you might be interested in it. Okay. And then you could, of course, do all combined or 3 months. Those are probably both going to give you way too much data. I mean, just in using the 1 month, there are 1,234,000 price drops here. There's a ton to go through. And of course, we're going to use some more filters here shortly. All right. Now, in the ranges, your drop percentage range, right now you can see it's 20% off to 80% off. Because I've chosen new, this means that the drop percentage range is the price. And I'm going to put in here up to 100% off, which brings me from 1.236 up a little bit from what it was before. A 20% minimum drop in price. I'm actually going to move this up to 30%. Now, you can click on the very left side of this bar here, and you'll see that a slider icon pulls up. You can also click on the actual percentage number, and that will allow you to slide things back and forth. All right. I'm going to do 30% as a minimum drop here. In the drop range, this is going to be the price, okay, the actual dollar amount that is dropped by. I'm going to leave this wide open from $0 up to over 100. That's infinity. All right. If something normally sells for 15 and it drops by $5, is it going to work for me? Probably not. But do I want to see it? Yeah, absolutely. I do. And also, gentlemen, looks like there's a necklace here that's usually $5,400 down to $65 if you need something to get yourself out of the doghouse. But do your own due diligence. All right. You can also choose only the last price change. And if you choose this, it's going to significantly hinder the number of results that you have because it's only going to base these ranges on the very last price change. That's not what I want because, again, that's going to miss those stair steps down where they may not be worth it at all, but they are there for you guys. And I they took away one of the filters. We'll have to see if we can find it. Normally, I have a filter for taking out the adult items, but unfortunately, I see some adult items are coming up. So if you have any children, close their eyes right now. All right, we're gonna take away that only last price change in the price range. Okay, this is going to be the actual cost of the product. You can see I have mine set from $5 up to 400. That should be 5 to infinity or greater than $500. Okay. And that's what we're going to be looking for. You can change that around if you want. Maybe you only want to source things that are a minimum of $20. That's okay. No problem. Now, the sales rank range, you can put a minimum and a maximum. Uh, I am going to leave this blank. I want to see everything. However, if you want to pare this down a little bit, you could say put in a max of, let's say, 500,000 if you want to. And that'll be your max range on the sales rank. Now, I always tell people to be a little bit careful when it comes to this because there are categories, and the example is last week I bought some items that were ranked 900,000, actually higher than that, but they're ranked over 900,000 in the automotive category. But I looked at it and I knew that I'd be able to. I only picked up 5 units. It was a nice ROI, nice margin, and I know that they're all going to sell within a month. Like I have no qualm about it. So if it were me, I'm probably going to go higher. I'm probably going to say, hey, you know what? Show me things that go up to 1 million in sales rank. There's 1 million. Okay. And I'll make the decision on my own rather than filtering things out here. Okay. All right. And then we can also choose the minimum rating. This would be, is it a 1-star product? Is it a 5-star product? I'm going to leave this blank. And the reason I want to leave this blank is there are going to be items that you sell that are 2 stars where people are complaining about the price or something like that. You don't want to, get rid of those. Okay. Now, does the rating matter on things like shoes and clothing? Yeah, absolutely. But on a toy, I'm a little less worried about it, especially if the feedback is, oh, this was priced too high. Okay. That's it. All right. Now, there's also this apply filter section. In the apply filter section, look at that. I have the filter adult items out and they still showed up. See, I knew what I was doing here. I'm not trying to show anything to anybody that's inappropriate. But in this apply filter section, we can choose lowest ever and only see the items that have the price that is the lowest ever on Amazon. Again, it's going to really pare down what results you're going to get. So I'm not going to use that. You can do lowest over the past 90 days, the lowest new offer, Amazon or the item out of stock. Okay. Does it have an Amazon offer? Does it not have an Amazon offer? I am going to put in here, it must have reviews. Okay. So it must have reviews. I don't want to see any adult items, although I will tell you if you're not against selling some adult items, they can do well for you. Okay. And then I have chosen here show only one variation per product. If I turn this off, you're going to end up noticing that when shoes show up, it's going to give you 100 different variations on some shoes. Okay. I don't want to see 100 different variations. So I have it show me one variation per product, and I will go in and I will choose what it looks like, or like choose the other variations. Okay, we can do that, and I'll show you if we come across an item that has variations. All right. Now, for the first time ever during an OA challenge, there is more filters available, and this is going to look very it's going to look very familiar once we go into the data section and start looking at the Keepa product finder, because this is a portion of the filters from the Keepa product finder. So we could go in here and say, hey, it is one of, and we can look sales rank display group. All right. So this is one of automotive or et cetera. All right. This is a one particular type of product. Right. It's from a certain manufacturer. It's from a certain brand. So maybe I want to say, hey, just show me the Lego stuff. All right. It's just from a certain brand store or brand store URL. You can do a product group. Maybe I only want to sell one color of item. You can choose all these different filters. I would highly suggest being very careful. I'm going to throw Lego in there. I'm going to hit submit, and we're going to see, well, there's 41 Lego deals right now. So this item right here, 345.85. Right now it's at 174.95. Uh, and we can see that this is not going to be something that is useful. If this were truly something that was 384 on average, all right, and we're down to 174, I might actually pick some of these up, especially if it was an FBA seller. Don't really want to buy it from an FBM seller, even though it has so few sales on here. Because what I would do is I'd go back a little bit further and I'd say, hey, where did the sales actually happen? And even over 628 days, there's just very few sales, even at $229. Okay. But if you're familiar with one particular brand and you're really interested in that one brand, it is possible to go and look for just one brand to flip on Amazon. Okay. Or, and now here's the other thing, in this, you could do more than one brand. Okay. So let's say, for example, you could do up to 50 here. Let's say, for example, we do Lego. Well, we could also do Connects. And I think that's Connection Inc. is what that's going to be. We could also do Play School. Is it Play School? What is the other? Oh, no, it's Duplo. Uh, we'll put in Duplo. That's a Lego product. Throw in another brand here. Oh, Mega Blocks. That's what I was looking for. Mega Blocks. There we go. We've got Mega Blocks here. Okay. So in the Mega Blocks section, we got Mega Blocks, Connection, Duplo, etc. We hit submit. And now we've got all of these brands. still at 42. So there were no other deals other than Lego. All right. So now we're going to take all of those out, not the apply filter, the more filters. We're going to drop all of these, clear all of them, hit submit. That way we see everything. Now, finally, we can sort this. Okay. So we can sort it by the drop percentage. That's the way that I typically throw mine in there. And I can choose, if I choose percentage, you'll see a little arrow here with a 9 on top and a 1 on bottom. Well, that means that the largest deal is on top. And as we scroll down through, it's going to get to be a smaller deal if you want. Okay. If you click on the little arrow and make it go the other direction, it'll now have the smallest discount up top. And as you go through, you'll be able to see things that are higher and higher discounted. Okay. You can also sort by the drop, the actual drop in the price number. So this item here, it's an 88% drop. It was 4,800. Now it's 599. It's a big numbered drop. Okay. And again, same thing here. We can turn these around the other direction. This one here went from 7-Eleven average to 5, etc. Okay. You can also sort by price. So we can see here lowest price to highest price, or we can filter or sort by highest price to lowest price. And then you can sort by newest. So what this will do here is this will show you the newest drop. And this deal was found 1 minute ago. If we refresh this page, we'll see if something new pops up. It does not. So we've got an item here that it was found 1 minute ago. This was a minute ago. As we scroll down, these are all 1 minute ago. Let's let a few more load. Here we go. Page 3. Oh, wow. That's still just 1 minute ago. Fine. Oh, here we go. Found 3 minutes ago. Okay. And it is infinite scroll on this page. All right. Now, you can also do sales rank. So if you want the best sales rank at the top, you can do that. If you want the worst sales rank at the top, you could do that. We're just going to go by newest. This will give us the newest items at the very front all the time. You also have the ability to reset your selections. That'll just reset everything kind of back to normal. And then we can clear our visited deals. So you'll notice in here, we've pulled up a few of these. Maybe you won't notice because I've moved on. But we can set or clear visited deals. And for any item that we had clicked on, it'll clear that and it'll show it like you've never seen it before. We can also set our clearing interval. Okay. So this allows you to set the days after which a visited deal should automatically no longer be marked as visited. Okay. And you can choose here. So I have mine set to, well, after 7 days, it'll show back up like I've never seen it before. And then you can choose the opacity of a visited deal. I have mine set to half or 0.5. So what this means is if I pull up this thread spread here, if I click on it, all right, this means I've viewed it. Okay. And when I come back, you'll notice that the opacity, however you say that term, I can't see that as well as I can see the other items. But if I clear visited deals, well, that pillow will show right back up like I've never seen it before. Where was that pillow? It must have moved because of new deals, right? No, it is gone for some reason. All right, but that's okay. All right. And anything else? Oh, we can reload the deals if we need to. We can mark all of these as seen. So if we've gone through all of these or we've gone through enough of them and we're just sick and tired of it, we can hit mark all as seen. If we click reload deals, it'll go out and it'll try to find new deals for us. So you'll see this Hanes shirt here was just found just a minute ago. All right. Or just a few seconds ago. All right, that's really what you need to know about how to use this. Now, up here at the top, right now we have show all. we can go in and we can look at particular categories. So maybe I'm just interested in appliances. Well, here we go. I've got all the appliance deals available to me. Maybe I just want to look at video games. Well, I could do that and I could say, hey, just show me the video games based on my filters. All right. But I don't. I'm going to show all. All right. For now. Now, the one last thing we can do is we can actually bookmark this selection. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do I am actually going to choose toys and games, and I'm going to hit the plus sign on the bookmark this selection. And then I'm going to hit the little pencil icon and I'm going to rename this. And I'm going to say, this is A to A. I'm going to delete out your deals. A to A, new 30% plus toys and games. Well, I'll have to just do toys. All right. I'll do 30% toys. And I can hit enter. And now this is bookmarked for me. Well, let's say I also want to come over here and I want, is it available? Yep. Let's just say that I want to know what Kindle drops are happening. Well, I can choose that and I can hit the plus button and I can hit this little thing right here. I'm going to rename this and whoops, I'm going to rename this and I'm going to call this Kindle Deals 30% plus. Oops. Plus. All right. And now I've got all the Kindle deals in here as well. I usually just rely on Chris to send me the Kindle deals, but maybe I should do some of my own work. But now what I can do is I can bounce back and forth between these. I can say, all right, well, just show me the toys. Well, here we go. I've got just the toys available to me, and I can start going through and seeing which one of these I maybe want to take a look at a little bit deeper. Okay. Now, if everyone understands there, or if everyone is good there, we'll actually look to see if some of these, are actually good flips. Is everybody good with that? All right, let's go take a look at a few. So we'll look at. I'm actually going to show all. We're going to look at everything here. Okay. So we've got a this is a four headlight grill, Georgie headlight grill. This kind of seems like it's a private label product. So this is one of the skills you're going to need to have is what's private label, what's not. Okay. So I'm probably going to stay away from that. I'm going to stay away from this Happy Cinco de Mayo taco dinosaur, Avalon Ballroom. And we're going to kind of just run over some of these. I don't know why. Let me open up my settings real quick. Yes, that should be turned on. Good to go there. All right. Well, not sure why my Keepa graph isn't showing down on the bottom right. Let me refresh this page. Hmm. Normally, my Keepa chart should be showing up so I can see a little bit more, but that's okay. All right. So we go through these and we see, all right, average was 68.73. Now it's 48.17. Not really interested there. I really want to see things a little bit higher. This is a handmade Damascus knife. Going to stay away from there. I can't sell Under Armour, and there's not really enough of a delta there. But let's take a look at Rothy's. All right. 99 shows the average price at 160. So we'll take a look at this. All right. And sure enough, Rothy's is actually on this listing. If we scroll down, we can see there's typically two new offers. Looks like it went out of stock for a short time. Rothy's dropped the price to 99, and it looks like they came back in stock at 99. Now, because this is the brand owner, I don't think I'm gonna pop on this, and it looks like it might just be FBM and FBA on this particular item. So I'm gonna stay away from this. Okay, but let's keep rolling and just see what we can find here. 699 to 1077. There's not enough. I'm gonna be quiet while I look for something. A cat travel litter box. That's unfortunate. All right, let's take a look at this one. This is Steve Madden product here. We can see that the price does often go to 98.95. Really nice of Amazon to give Zappos, an Amazon-owned company, the buy box at 98.95, and then take it away from a third-party seller at 99.95. I'm going to back this up to 112 days. Before it looks like at one point this item was orphaned, and you can see the sales rank. You can see it go from 1 million to 400, yeah, 2 million to 500,000. Those are probably like legitimate one-time sales. But then it looks like it got together with its parent ASIN, and now it looks like it moves much faster. This is where you need to know that, oh, okay, there are variations here. I need to dig into this and see, would this be okay to sell? So we look up variations, or does this sell? You know, like 7.5 seems like a fairly common size for a women's shoe. And then we need to go and see whether or not it would actually be profitable. But we can see the 7.5 is at 54. These are at 65, 65, 50. So this kind of stuff probably would end up keeping me away from selling this, because this is an outlier where the price has been unusually high on this particular item. So that's probably going to leave me out on that one. Okay. Let's keep going. This item right here was 268, and then it dropped down to 132.11, 132.12. So I can see nice solid history of a higher buy box price. We did have an FBM seller on there. It looks like FBM seller right now. I can see movement in the seller count over the past 120 days. I can see there is movement in the sales rank. So it is selling. When I go to the year, it looks like Amazon was on it at one point at a 268 price. So even if Amazon came back in stock, I'm guessing they're probably going to be in stock at that higher price. 135 of global power. Okay. So I'm curious about this one. All right. If I could get this for 132 and toss it back on here, even at 250, it should be profitable. So I'm going to open this up on Amazon. I'm not going to be able to see whether or not I can sell it or not. This is 11 bands. It is only sold by a third party FBM seller. So this is going to make it a no go for me. Okay. But this is how we kind of do this thing. And this kind of seems slow and boring, but that's what it is. That is what sourcing is. Okay. See if there's anything else I can find in here. Fondant strip cutter. Here we go. This item, there may not be enough room on there. Let's take a look anyway. So this item is a Columbia item. Looks like there could be some sales happening in the in between when Amazon's out of stock. If we look at the year on this, it seems like Amazon has had some trouble being out of stock, but if they're in stock all the time, they're going to be at 30 bucks. If I get this for 15, I might buy one or maybe two. We can see the number of Amazon sellers is going down on this. It's Heather, Navy Heather medium. We can look at variations to see if they are dropping the price on any other variations, or if it's just this one. This is some one off here. Looks like there are a couple others, like the extra large is at 15. That one is normally at 15, so not really going to mess with that one. The Navy Heather medium, it's showing the buy box at 15. Maybe I'm not going to mess with that. Okay. This is all we do over and over and over again when we're doing Amazon to Amazon flips uh, uh, manually. Okay. This one, not really any good. Doesn't really sell very much. Price keeps stepping down on that one, so I'm not interested there. Nope. No curtains. Okay, this one looks curious. So here we go. We've got an item that has been at 13.99 or so. It's got had pattern on it or has pattern on there. So you have to decide whether or not you want to sell against pattern, more pattern than products personal. I don't know, maybe. There is a little bit of movement in the number of sellers, but right now it is pattern that dropped the price. So I'm probably going to be a no go on that one. If pattern dropped the price because they can just afford to sell it at that price, I really don't want to deal against them. They're a big seller. All right, Row. That's probably not something I want to sell. Can't really sell Adidas. Just see if I can find anything that might be of interest to you guys. Sorry, guys, bear with me just a moment. We're gonna have a little dead air while we look for something here. Doesn't look like very many sales on there. All right, here's one. No, there's not a whole lot of movement in the seller count there. All right, here we go. Sam Edelman shoe, 7.5 in ivory. This one would be one that I would probably be on. Yes, price comes down from Shop Bop. Not really worried about that. The price right now is 89.95 from Amazon. Looks like there is a third party FBA seller at $45. It is Shop Bop. It's an Amazon company. I could buy for 45 bucks. We go out to 160 days. They've got a pretty solid history of being higher. I would expect this price to go back up. I can see that there is movement in the number of sellers. Looks like there is movement in the number of ratings for this product. We can go take a look at variations and see if there are any other variations that are also priced a little bit lower. There's one at 54, 54, 89, 45. There's a couple at 45. All right, we got size 7 in ivory. I'm going to go ahead and open that one up. There we go. We'll open that one up. And then we were looking at we got amber gold. There's no proof that that one sells through. See if there's any others here. Now, one thing we can do here when we're looking at variations is we can sort by the buy box if we want to. and we can show just the least expensive ones up front. So this amber gold in 7.5 is what we saw earlier. That said, it's just going up. This one here is 45, but we can see it's 89.95, although it's been at 53 for quite a while. So I'm a no. And then we looked at this modern ivory here. Okay. This one's been high for the whole time almost, except for when Shopbop comes into account. So, and we can see the number of sellers is moving down. So if we open that one and we open it on Amazon, we're going to be able to see that there is some money to be made there. And how much is it? We can pick it up for 45. The average 30-day price is 89.93. We're going to use 86.38 as the average buy box price because it's a little bit lower than Amazon. It's based on the 90-day average. We can get these for 45. It looks to be about $20 in profit, a 45% ROI. If I could sell that brand, I would very likely grab one or two because there is evidence that that will sell through. All right. And that's all you got to do. And you do that over and over and over again, and you'll be able to find profitable inventory. Okay. Yeah, you can go into categories if you're more interested in categories. And then remember, there are drops all the time on these things. Okay. We refreshed and now there's a whole bunch more. Now, one of the other things you're going to want to do is you're going to want to see, is Amazon, are they, getting their price from somewhere else? Okay. So we're going to look at this product right here. You see the price has stepped down and then it went back up and it stepped down again. It's 858 at the moment. Excuse me. It's 858 at the moment for this particular short. Looks like there's also a 20% off coupon that's available. This is from Amazon. So if we could sell this, the question is Amazon matching a price somewhere? Okay. So we go to a quick Google search, and it doesn't look like Amazon is matching a price, at least at a known retailer for this particular item. Cheapest one I saw up there was like 14 at Zappos, which is not exactly the same thing. So they're probably just trying to be the cheapest. Okay. So that's interesting. That's good. All right, good to know. We should always go in and Google these. Okay. See if you can find more sources for it. Okay. All right. We probably spent enough time there. We're an hour in here. Okay. We've got a lot more to go. I think what we're going to do is we're going to take a very short little break, a little 2-minute break, get something to drink, make sure to stay hydrated. And then we're going to move on to the tracking section and the data section, which is going to be what most of this evening is going to be about. All right. So we're going to pop a little 2-minute timer on here, and we'll be back and we'll grab all the rest of this evening. Okay, we're back. All right. Now, uh before we go on to the next section, if you have not already listened to the um the 2.5 hours that we did with Saul earlier today, I would highly suggest it. Okay. It was a really good time. Very informative. Made me feel a whole lot better about Amazon to Amazon flips myself. All right. Now, let's talk about a few of these other pieces of Keepa. This next one is the track feature. Now, you can find products to track by going to the search section. Okay, so we can actually search for products on Amazon if we want to. All right, we'll get to that here in a minute. We can look at the deals section. We can check the Amazon browser extension. We already did that. But in this tracking section, we can look at our tracking overview. What items are we actually tracking for ourselves? Okay. I don't have a whole lot in here, although I did get a notification on this Lego Speed Champions Fast and Furious Dodge Charger today. It went all the way down to 19.99, and it's currently at like $81. And I was kicking myself for not being faster. Okay, and I wanted this just for personal reasons, but uh, this is where you can track things. You can delete them, you can filter them. It's pretty self explanatory. You're not really going to spend a whole lot of time in here. You can hold up to 5,000 items in here, and then you have to start deleting things out. Okay. Again, you're not going to spend very much time in here. I don't think that we need to spend a whole lot of time talking about how this works. It's just a database of what you're tracking, and that's it. Okay. Um, uh, okay. Um, Now you can also upload wish lists. So if your favorite celebrity has a wish list or your favorite influencer has a wish list and you want to try to source it, well, you can go and grab that wish list URL and you can pop it in here. I've never grabbed someone else's wish list URL. Uh, so I can't show you what this looks like, but it's basically just going to be the product viewer for the items that are on any particular wish list. And that's it. I highly doubt this is really used. And then we can also see our recent notifications. So these are the items that we've gotten notified from seller on or Keepa on recently. Okay. Got Honolulu Cookie Company, Lego Speed Champions, etc. Um, you can display notifications only for items currently being tracked. So if you have deleted some out of there and they're still showing up in your history here, then you can make sure not to see those if you want. But that's all that is. Just going to say, hey, this is the time that we notified you, and here's what we notified you about. The next section is the apps section. You should take a brief look at this and know that you can get browser extensions for Firefox, for Google Chrome, for Opera. You can get extensions for Microsoft Edge and Safari. All right. And they'll give you a little overview of it in that video. You can also grab the mobile app. It's both on Google Play and on the App Store. I would highly suggest that you download this and you sign in. Do I spend very much time looking at the uh, Keepa app? No, absolutely not. I don't particularly care for it. I like to be at my computer. However, you can get the price drop alerts on your phone. And so it can be a little bit faster than waiting for an email. And then we've got the Keepa API here. All right. And in the Keepa API, we can do several things. Number one, I pay for extra access. That's why you'll see later that I show like 300 percent data or something like that. Uh, and and that's it. Okay. I'm not going to go through the API because I cannot tell you how to use it because I'm not a developer or anything like that. But if you know how to use APIs, you know how to use webhooks, things like that, there are some cool things that you can do with the API. There is API features, there's documentation, there is pricing plans of what it's going to cost you. And I pay for the 20 tokens per minute, and then I have a couple of extra subscriptions. So I actually get 35 tokens per minute. Okay, and that's it. All right. So go use that at your leisure if you so choose. If you do want to work with the API and you have some technical skill and you want to use a little AI, go ahead and use it and run in and create stuff. There are a lot of things you could do. Now, I'm going to come to the data section here in just a moment. I just want to cover these three sections here, just rapid fire. There's the information section. This is going to give you the site features. It's going to give you the FAQ, which is not really helpful. It's going to give you news, which has not been updated since October 24th of 2024, even though there are new features that have been enabled. There is an affiliate program. You get paid a whopping $8 if somebody buys Keepa through your link. I'm not against you sharing it. You absolutely should. $8 is $8. But you can see that out of 4,658 clicks, only 289 people have actually purchased Keepa. All right. And I have not made very much money. All right. Maybe there might be $1,200 since 2019 in there. Okay. So you're not going to make a killing using the affiliate program, but that's also, I wouldn't say no to a few bucks. I use that $41 on something. And then, of course, there's the disclaimer. This is their terms of service, their privacy policy, etc. If you plan on going and trying to scrape Keepa or using bots or anything like that, you will get banned. They know. They are very, very smart there. So make sure that if you're going to try to do that stuff, go through the API, go the correct way. There's also a comment section. This is their forum. It is not bad. It's not great either. There's a lot of people who don't really know what they're doing, don't really understand things. However, Keepa will come in here and they will answer questions. So, like, does Keepa work on Amazon.pl? We do not plan to add any additional Amazon locales. Thank you for understanding. So it seems like Keepa is done adding places. They're not doing Poland. Is there a rank problem? Okay. So there is some helpful things in here that you can learn. And I will occasionally just scroll through the latest and see if there's anything interesting that is showing up. And pull swatch images. Yeah, I'm not really seeing a whole lot. There is some information about the BSR tracking differently, which we talked about. Okay, so you'll see here someone took some screenshots and said, "Hey, what's going on?" Keepa answered it. Right, Amazon changed how it calculates the sales rank, and that's it. Okay, so you might want to go through here every now and again and just read through there. Or if you have a question, you can always pop it in here. You can also search through all of this stuff. You can look for your messages, your posts, etc. You can even throw in some feature requests if you want. All right. And then there is the search. In this search bar, you can either put in an ASIN or you can put in a product name. And Keepa will just go out and it'll look through its database to pull back some products that are Spider-Man. It only pulls back a few, so the ASIN is much better at this search. But you're probably not going to use that. You're probably just going to use the Keepa extension. All right. But now for the main event, for the data section, and we're going to work our way backwards. Okay. Because the product finder is sort of the belle of the ball. All right. So, number one in the data section, of course, there's the Keepa API yet again. All right. We talked about that already. Next, we've got the category tree. Okay. Now, what is the category tree? All this is it lets you know what the categories are, and then it tells you here's the category ID, here's the number of products in that category, here's the top 1%, top 2%, top 3%. What's the highest root category sales rank? What's the lowest root category sales rank? What's the average buy box price? The average buy box drop? The average review count? All this other data is in here, okay, for every single category. We can also, and we're going to go down to, we'll do automotive here. In automotive, we can see 49,829 total products. The top 1% in the automotive category is 498,000 in sales rank. The top 2% is 996,000. So, you know, it tells you like how big these catalogs are. We can also hit this little drop down arrow. And in the drop down, we're now going to be able to see all these other categories. So we can see under automotive, we've got categories. What about automotive enthusiast merchandise? Well, in this subcategory of automotive enthusiast merchandise, there are 12,459 products. 125 is top 1%, 249 is top 2%. All right, cool. But we can go even deeper. Under automotive enthusiast merchandise, there is apparel, bags and accessories, etc., toys and models, okay? Vehicle accessories. All right, so we'll go to the apparel. That's the biggest subcategory, all right? There's 15,000 in that. All right? Now, we can do a couple of things here. Number 1, we have a little magnifying glass. We can search for apparel in the product finder. So I'm going to click on this and open that up. And now it's going to search for all of those apparel items, the automotive enthusiast apparel. And it's going to pull all of them up for me, all 15,000. I can see up to 10,000 of them, but now I've got all of those right here. Okay. I could start sourcing those if I want to. We can also hit the little pound button. And in the pound button, it is going to show all of the product best sellers for that subcategory. Well, in that particular subcategory, none of them count as an actual best seller. But if we pulled up like the building sets subcategory where Legos would be, well, some of those would be in there. And then finally, we can open up these products, this subcategory on Amazon if we wanted to look at it through here. Now, Amazon only shows 325. They don't show all, excuse me, 15,000, but you can open up that subcategory on Amazon as well. Okay. And that's what this does. Can also have it show you meta categories if you want. So arborist merchandising route under automotive, that's probably wrong. That's not incredibly helpful. And there is a glossary here. What are all these things? What is the FBA buy box share? What's the top 1%? What's the top sellers? Okay. Now, the cool thing here is we can run over and we can grab some of this other data. Well, look at that. In the automotive category, the average sale price is 91.16. That's good to know. Okay. Maybe I want to spend my time in the categories that have the highest average buy box price. All right. Well, automotive is certainly there. What's this one? Appliances is certainly there. Well, what else? Let's see this one here. Electronics is 106, of course. 102 in industrial and scientific. Very nice. I wouldn't expect it to be that high. 121 in office products is the average buy box price. That's cool. That's cool to know. We can also, and doesn't look like I have it turned on here. Let me configure columns. There we go. Top sellers. Okay. So now I can see a couple of other things. Well, how many sellers in a particular category? Automotive was up here. There we go. All right. There's 93,000 sellers in the automotive category, but the average new offer counts 1.8. Well, who are the biggest sellers? Well, there's Amazon, there's Ink Tasket, that word. There is whatever this word is, and these other ones, Bonyak Jewelry and Yet Dasbin. Okay. There are 46,000 brands. And then what are the top brands that are available to us? Okay. Well, the top brands are going to be Generic, Cover King, Sawyer Auto, Part Catalog, R Vinyl, right? Those are some of the biggest brands that are going to be available to us in that particular category. And those are not clickable. However, the top sellers are our Vinyl, Color Right, Part Catalog, and WL Supply. We're going to go ahead and open those sellers up, and we can actually look at the largest sellers in this particular category and see this one here. They've got 187,000 listings, okay, across GPS, TCP Global Corp, JB Tools, etc. All right. They're 100% automotive. Their average 30-day sales rank is almost 2 million. It looks like they're must be mostly private label with Color Right. Okay. Then we can tell the same thing over on these other stores as well. Okay. This one looks like it might be a private label. And this one here, 99% automotive. This one does not look like private label. Looks like they might be doing some wholesale. All right. We can pull those out of there as well. All right. Next up, we've got the seller lookup. Okay. Here, you can put in seller IDs, up to 50 of them at a time. And you can look up a particular, sorry, you got to do one at a time here. You can look up a seller here. So I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to pull up Pattern Amazon store. We're going to go to Pattern on Amazon, and we can see that their seller ID is right here. It's after the me equals in the URL bar, and I can pop in their seller ID and I can hit submit. And now I can see all of their information, their seller metrics, their storefront, etc. Okay. Their lifetime review count, their lifetime rating. I can show their storefront on Amazon if I want to. I can see how many verified listings they have. Are any of them FBA? Can I browse their listings via Keepa? Sure can. I'll open that up and I can pull up all of their listings. And then I can come in here and go to the advanced filter and I can start putting in filters. All right. And don't worry, I'll show you how to use that for storefront stalking at scale here soon. Okay. I promise we'll get to that. We can see how long this has been tracked by Keepa. Their average number of buy box competitors, 1.48. It's pretty low because Pattern likes to kick sellers off. All right. We can see what their buy box new ownership is, 77%. Remember to take that with a grain of salt. And then over here, we get to start seeing the size of their catalog. And they were right around 8,900. And then all of a sudden, they doubled in size, it seems, or at least that's what Keepa thinks. We can see their review count is going up and to the right at a nice pace, and their rating is staying nice and solid there. All right. This is over the past 120 days. We look over the past year, kind of the same thing, 9,000, 9,000, 8,000. We got a weird big time jump. Can you imagine going from 9,000 listings to 16 or 17,000 listings in such a short time? That's nasty work. We can see what their most recent customer feedback is. But then one of the cool things is we can actually see who their top overlapping competitors are. All right. So their top overlapping competitor is Zappos, an Amazon owned company. and then a company called LMT Arbitrage Company. And each one of these are clickable, and we can pull their seller IDs. I'm going to just click on LMT Arbitrage Company. I like it when someone's got the intestinal fortitude to put arbitrage right in their name. Seems to be thumbing their nose at the private label supremacists that are out there. River of Human Health, New Moon, Wholesaler Group Inc., Orva Stores, BL Deals, LS Outfitters, and Amazon Group. And this is the percentage of overlap in their catalogs. But then we can further see what the largest categories are for each one of these sellers. And this is where I think things get really interesting when we're looking at a seller, maybe one that we might admire or look up to or want our storefront to be like. Well, I happen to know the storefronts of several large sellers that are in the community, and you're going to find this over and over again. You're going to be surprised by what's in their top 10 categories. Number 1, clothing, shoes and jewelry doesn't surprise me at all. Health and household, also not surprising. Pet supplies surprises me a touch, okay? I figured that they would have gone into a larger category first. All right? It also tells you what percentage of their listings are in each category. And then it will tell you what percentage of the listings they're on that also have an Amazon offer. It's very surprising seeing some large sellers with 20, 30% offer overlap with Amazon and still doing some serious numbers. But one of the most interesting things to me is looking at the 30-day average sales rank of the items that these sellers keep in their storefronts. Okay. In the clothing, shoes, and jewelry category, where 56% of their catalog is, the average 30-day sales rank for pattern is 759,000. Okay. Health and households 137. That's actually lower than I would have expected. Home and kitchen, their average 30-day sales rank is 800,000. 350,000 plus in tools and home improvement, over 750,000 in appliances, 224,000 in beauty and personal care, and 500,000 in sports and outdoors. This is, and you'll see this over and over and over again, that these sellers that are doing some serious numbers are using much higher sales ranks than a lot of newer sellers. Okay. And we're going to be talking about this when we do some sourcing. Now, you also get to see their seller brand listing statistics. Okay. Sorrel is their biggest brand, Spanx, Pandora, Seakai Run, etc. Okay. And of course, all of these things are clickable. So if we come in here to let's see what their smallest category here is sports and outdoors. Well, we can open up all their sports and outdoors listings, which is 170. Okay. And we can also open up, let's say we want to see what are they selling of GE. Well, we can click on that and we can see all of their GE listings in their catalog. 359 GE listings in their catalog. Okay. All right. And we already, you can see their business name, their business address, etc. But we opened up this other seller here directly from their account. Holy moly. They went from 6,600 to 29,000. That seems almost wrong for what they must be doing. But this overlapping competitors is still very, very powerful. Run your own storefront through here, see who the overlapping competitors are, and then start going down rabbit trails of other competitors. And you're going to find a bunch of people that you're like, ooh, I'll go ahead and take a little bit from them and I'll take a little bit from over here. Okay. Very great way to rabbit trail down a dozen other storefronts to stock. Right? Okay. That is the seller lookup. Let's talk about the top seller list. I made a Loom video. Okay. I made a Loom video of how to use the top seller list to go in and find some stores to stock. Okay. That's what this is good for. Now, these are going to be larger stores. Okay. For example, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to put in 100,000 rows. And this is going to give me the top 100,000 sellers on Amazon, according to the lifetime review count. But we can narrow this down. Okay. So we could come in here and we can say, hey, you know what? Over lifetime reviews, I really don't want to see anybody. And you click on this little hamburger icon. I don't want to see any sellers that have, we'll say, we'll say in a range. Okay. So their lifetime reviews need to be at least 50, but cannot be any more than 750. Well, there's 37,000 sellers that have a lifetime review count between 50 and 750. And then I'm going to say, well, okay, over the last 30 days, I want their number of reviews to also be in a range, and it needs to be between one, but no more than 15. All right. Now I'm down to 21,000 reviews or sellers. Okay. And then I might come in here and say, okay, well, their verified number of listings needs to be greater than or equal to 50. Now I'm down to 7,000 reviews. And hopefully I'm getting rid of some of those private label sellers. Okay. In the country, I'm going to deselect all of them and I only want the US. Okay. So now I'm down to 3,300 sellers that match all of my filters. But I'm going to do one last thing here. In the category, I do not want them to be primarily selling books. Oops, does not contain books. Now I'm down to 2,958 storefronts where their category, their primary category is not books. They are based in the US. Their lifetime review is no higher than 750 and no lower than 50. And over the last 30 days, they've had anywhere between 1 and 15 reviews, which means these should be okay size sellers, but not crazy size sellers. What did I do in here? Greater than or equals 50. We could actually also do this in range for the verified listings. We could say it needs to be between 50 and we'll say 1,000 listings. Okay. So now I'm down to 2,358. And now we can do a couple of things. We can, and what did I see here? I saw somebody that I was, okay. So we're going to look at by ease. I'm going to click on their name and open it up in a new Keepa chart. I'm going to click on the little box with the arrow, open them up on Amazon. And now I can do this. I can look at their seller metrics. All right. Seller metrics is solid. Lifetime's a little low, but 100%. 794 listings. They've got already Christmas, my treasures, ornaments. Looks like they might. Oh, this is the other sellers on their listings. So maybe we'll look at John's Bargains. We'll look at F Toys. We'll look at Mo Deal Swap. Okay. So we'll look at those other sellers. They're in home and kitchen, toys and games, etc. Their biggest brand is Hallmark. Obviously, they sell a lot of Hallmark during Q4, I would imagine. They sell Precious Moments, Department 56, a lot of collectibles. Okay. But 12% of their catalog is Funko. Oh, we can go ahead and open that up and we could start. I don't know why it did that. Oh, I know what it did. Yeah, their brand is Funko. Why is that not pulling up here? Hmm, weird. Let's look up Hallmark instead. There we go. So here are all of their Hallmark ornaments. Okay. And we could start looking through here if we want to. But we've also got this rabbit trail of new sellers that we can go down and do the exact same thing over and over and over again and keep collecting storefronts that maybe we find that are interesting to us. Okay. All right. So there's that. And you can always save these as a bookmark or put them into a list. And the seller ID is always right up there at the top. Okay. Oh, and there is a storefront button. If you click on that storefront, it'll actually take you to all of their products. So there's 516 products in total. I've got 1,000 rows showing. You can export these, or you could just start looking through here. What are they selling? All right. Well, I don't really like any of those products, but now that one's interesting. It's in 50 bucks. Not sure that I could sell that, but a lot of different ways to use this data. Okay. All right. Next, we've got the product best sellers. Now, the product best sellers is the number or is the top 5,000 best selling listings in each of these categories. Okay. So if I click on beauty and personal care, for example, I have it set to 1,000 rows right now. And this is going to give me the top 1,000 best sellers in the beauty and personal care category. But I go a little bit further. Okay. I could say, hey, you know what? Show me the top 1,000 best sellers based on the 30-day average sales rank or the 90-day average sales rank. Mighty Patch is doing one heck of a job on Amazon. Okay. Or the 180-day average. Alternatively, I could come in and look at the historical data and I can say, you know what? Uh, let's look at August of 2024. Historically, what were the top selling ASINs in the beauty and personal care category last August? Well, cotton swabs and cotton rounds. That actually makes a ton of sense. And the reason it makes a ton of sense is because those kind of things are very often on back to school shopping lists. And this Lumi whole body deodorant. Well, if you've got a kid, you know that they need full body deodorant when they're going back to school and they hit about 11 or 12. Okay. So that all makes sense. You could use this in something like toys and games or grocery or something like that. And excuse me. Um, and come up with seasonal wins or things that maybe you want to look for down the road, when that season is about to come around. So, for example, if we go to October of 2024 and we run over to the grocery category, grocery and gourmet food, if we scroll just a little bit, now energy drinks are going to be at the very top, maybe some protein powders or something. But if we scroll down through the first page, it's very likely that we are going to start seeing some Halloween candy because this was for October. Okay. Let's see how far. Oh, there we go. Right there. Ring Pop Lollipops bulk candy. So that was because Halloween. All right. And so you can get some ideas of what people might be buying. Soups in October totally makes sense for those to be in the top 5,000. All right. You can also export all of this data if you want to. If you click export, you can show all active columns, only the ASINs, and you can export it to an Excel or a CSV file. All right. Use that however you choose. Okay. Now, and I'll tell you what we're going to do is we're going to go to the product viewer. We're going to talk about what the product viewer is. And then I'm going to answer your guys' questions. And that's where we're going to stop tonight. We're going to stop on a cliffhanger because we're at an hour and 32 minutes in. And by the time I get to all the questions, we're going to be at 2 hours. And we've got Product Finder. And I want to make sure that the presentation for Product Finder is the best one I've ever given you guys. And so I'm going to show you a bunch of my SOPs for the Keepa Product Finder. So we're going to hold that off for another. We're going to hold that off for Thursday night, and I'm going to spend 2 hours going through Product Finder with you and different ways that you can use it. We'll do it for Amazon to Amazon flips. We're going to do it for uh, a shotgun method of storefront stalking. We're going to look for corridors. We're going to look for no sales rank. We're going to go all over the place inside of Keep a Product Finder. But I think we need to have a focus night just for Keep a Product Finder by itself. Okay. But product viewer, one thing you can do here is you can load up a list of ASINs. Actually, I need to go back and I need to download some here. So let me export these only ASINs to a CSV file. And in the product viewer here, we can upload a list of ASINs. We can do one of two things. We can paste them right here, up to 10,000 of them at any one time. We can also put in a list of UPC, EAN, or GTIN codes. So the little barcode. And we could do a code prefix search. I've never messed with that. I'm not even 100% sure what it is. Okay. But we're going to put in a list of ASINs. Once you have uploaded things and hit load list, you can bookmark it and always come back to it. All right. So we could copy and paste a list of ASINs here. Very easy to do. Okay. Or we can upload a file. And we're going to go ahead and upload that file that I just downloaded from Keepa. We're going to open it. It's the Keepa Export Bestsellers list. We're going to include products we currently are unable to collect fresh information for. I'm going to hit OK, and I'm going to load the list. And it's going to load this up for me. Now, let me tell you some interesting ways that you could use this. Number one, you could go and scrape the ASINs from storefronts. You could use something like ASIN Gadget, which will get a little bit deeper into the catalog than Keepa will, because remember, Keepa data is not always right up to the minute. All right. You could grab all of your historical sales for the last 30 days, for the last 90 days, for the last however long, couple of years. You could download that list of ASINs of things that you have sold in your store, and you could import them in here. Okay. Because we can do a couple of things from here. Number one, we can, of course, remove these items. We can update this product data. All right. We can enable, we could actually track all of these at one time if we so choose. We can just track everything. Oh, got an unresponsive here. Let me wait for that. We could put all the tracking in. And track all of these items. All right. Sorry, I'm getting a little unresponsive error here. We can also come in here and we can filter. Okay. So we've uploaded this list of ASINs, 986 of them is what we have. And I'm going to say, hey, you know what? Sorry, let me refresh this page and see if that will fix this. Shut up, Luke. It's all fun with me and Luke. We just give each other a hard time. Ah, all right. Let me grab this link here. While this loads, uh, yeah, Chris, my kids are unresponsive. Yeah, I hear that, man. Well, unfortunately, we might end up having to stop there if this is gonna be this way tonight. That's all right. We can start with that tomorrow, and I can show you how to filter some things. Let me go in and let me answer your guys' questions and see if this loads at all. Nope, it is just not wanting to work tonight. Well, that's all right. We'll have to end it there, and I may have too many. I have like six Google Chrome profiles open, unless my internet's being wonky. But we'll uh, we'll get back to that tomorrow, and I'll start there with you guys. Let's see. We answered that one. Steven, I still don't have anything from OA Challenge on my Discord. So, Steven, I know that you emailed me. You emailed me your email address. I need your actual Discord username. It's an at, like mine is at clear the shelf. I need to see if I can send you a friend request. I'm not sure what's going on in your Discord account. Like I've gotten everyone else in, so I'm not 100% sure what may be happening there, but send me your username, which is at something, and I will try to send you a friend request, see if I can add you manually. What's considered a healthy margin for OA and wholesale? I mean, as high as possible, of course. But I think that if you can get between 8 and 12%, that's that's an incredibly healthy margin for an inventory based business. Remember that Target, at least they did have the best margin on their business. They're not heavy in grocery. Was running about 4%. So can you please review a couple of Keepa charts for 808 flips? Doesn't have to be a win. We didn't really look at Keepa charts in detail this afternoon. We are going to be doing some different sourcing methods, and we're going to be coming back. We're going to do manual sourcing. We're going to do reverse sourcing. We're going to do storefront stalking. We're going to do Amazon to Amazon flips. This challenge is changing a little bit compared to what it has been in the past. And so we're going to be doing a lot more sourcing sessions. And so, yes, we will go over some Keepa graphs, I promise. Why are the items on Chris's Keepa display different than mine? Should, for example, I see the same items on my Keepas as Chris when I click on sales rank in the deals tab? That I don't know. I'm not sure why that will happen unless everything was like exactly the same. Christy, I tried some 808 flips months ago, but noticed that several of those products were deactivated by Amazon due to high pricing errors. Is there something to watch for while sourcing to avoid choosing ASINs that might get flagged for pricing errors? There's nothing that I'm aware of. No. Can you use an Amazon Prime card or Amazon business account for Amazon flips? Both, yes. Uh, Used books should not be hard gated, and I've also got ungated in new books, hundreds. Well, not hundreds, tens of new book brands. So I don't believe that they're all hard gated for everybody. What's the benefit of clicking the check mark of the filter must have reviews? It means that there was likely at least one sale. So if I'm not using any sales rank criteria back in the deals section, okay. So if I leave my sales rank at just max, like all, there are going to be some things that it catches that have no sales rank whatsoever. But if I apply the filter that it must have reviews, well, then it's at least had one sale on it. How do you add the free Walmart price ad to the Keepa picture? That you have to download the Flip Alert extension. It is free. You have to have the free version of Flip Alert. We shared all of that earlier today. You just go to flipalert.co and sign up for the free account. When I say something went orphan, it means that a variation listing. So look at this listing here, for example. This listing has variations. Okay. When a listing has variations, they're known as child ASINs. Okay. So ASIN here, ASIN here, ASIN here. Those are child ASINs. If one of them gets thrown off into its own and it has no brothers and sisters, it becomes known as an orphaned ASIN. It's not a no go if it's only sold by a third party. I typically just stay away from items that are sold by the brand themselves. How could you tell that the band product was only sold by a third party FBM seller? When you hover over, first of all, I hovered over here and I could see who was in the buy box, and it showed me that it was a FBM seller. Okay. And then when I opened up the page, I could see that it was an FBM seller. That was the only one on the listing. And trust me, this will all come together. We're going to do sourcing. We're going to be paying a lot more attention to Keepa charts as we do sourcing, and we'll put a little bow on how to look at everything and what data is important and stuff like that. But like the first couple of days, I kind of need to give you the puzzle pieces, okay? And that's why this is 14 days, because after we get all the puzzle pieces laid out and facing the right side up, then we're going to start putting the puzzle pieces together, and it all comes together, I promise. Why does an item only being sold by an FBM seller make it a no-go? Scams, that kind of stuff. They're more frequent with merchant fulfilled sellers. What does Pattern mean? Pattern is a seller on Amazon, currently the largest seller on Amazon. And they're also, yeah, they send out IP complaints. And Brian, I promise, I'm just giving you the puzzle pieces. We'll get there. I promise. Okay. I've got this is lucky number 13. We've got it. We've got this that goes in a certain direction. Uh, so I promise, and unfortunately, if I go too slow, we end up being here for 3 hours, and then nobody actually goes through the all the information. How do you know if the seller is the only one authorized to sell that product? You can't know for sure, but we know that Pattern does something called brand direct for the most part. And so they're authorized to sell in most cases. And then I typically just stay away from it when it's the brand. So, let's say if Lumi was selling that Lumi deodorant, I would end up staying away because they're the brand on the branded listing. 808 flips for ungating. Is it at 100 items as standard? Really worth it getting started? No, I would not try to get ungated uh, other than auto ungating as you get started. Find what you can sell and sell that. Sebastian, I think I know the answer to this, but still want to ask, is it ever a good idea to source tools from AliExpress? No, never. AliExpress is counterfeit 99.9% of the time. Is there an AI tool that can help us research or source any of this stuff? Not yet. It's coming. You can use some AI. There are some people who've built some prompts that are most likely going to gatekeep it for quite a while to go and find things. I don't think that AI is there quite yet. We're getting close. Okay. And honestly, as a beginner, you don't want to use that kind of crutch yet. You want to hold off. You want to learn how to do this for yourself because using a software is a lever. And when you use a lever on a skill that you have not fully formed yet, it can go sideways pretty quick. Can we get a list of the vicious or bad sellers to avoid that stick out for us newbies? I don't know all of them. It's just really pattern that I usually stay away from right now. If I'm gated in that brand, 808 isn't for me, right? Yeah, you probably don't want you're not gonna go selling a product that you're not ungated in. When you do Amazon to Amazon sourcing, are you actually looking for a long-term investment? No, not necessarily. Uh, some of my 808 flips, I just started really doing 808 flips at the beginning of July, and some of them have already sold. If I can't use Prime to resell on Amazon, should I just use my credit card to purchase from Amazon and resell on Amazon? Is it still okay if my Seller Central email and Amazon email are the same? You should create a new account with a different email address from your Seller Central email. Same business information, same name, different email address. Keepa alerts. Keepa alerts come via email. They also come via the app on your phone. Miguel, when I buy for 808, that means I receive the product, then send it back and wait a couple of weeks to list like any other product. Yeah, you don't have to wait a couple of weeks. You can just send it right back in once you get it. You can put in a barcode in the search bar and it will find you the relevant ASINs. Very helpful. Yep, absolutely. Any thoughts on why Keepa wouldn't track an item that sells a lot each month, meaning there's a monthly sold number but no charts or other data? Sometimes that just happens. There's a lot of reasons it could happen. Amazon's not reporting the data. There's a problem collecting the data. Maybe it's search suppressed in some way. That's about it. If Zappos is on the buy box, do you recommend avoiding that item? No, not necessarily. Luke's got a great tip here. If you ever pull up any of those things, like keep a product finder, anything like that, you can bookmark them. And we'll be talking about that a little bit more tomorrow as well. What Keepa filters do I mostly use for sourcing? We'll get into those tomorrow. Why am I so very? I don't know that I'm very nice. I'm not sure about that, but I appreciate it. No, I'm just giving Luke a hard time. We joke around. Where did I type in Spider Man? In the search bar right here. You hit the search button and hit search for products. Oh, yeah. Good call, Chris. Fortress brands as well. You want to stay away from them, they suck. Following up on Debin's question, are we going to go over finding ungated stuff and auto ungating? Yeah, I'm not giving out the auto ungating method until day number 8. We're going to have some people who are like, hey, listen, I don't like your face and I'd like a refund. And that's fine. That's totally okay. But I'm not going to give out some of the best stuff for people who aren't going to be here the whole time because um, I mean, it's good. I'll be quite honest. So you guys are going to get a list of the brands that I have ungated in myself. It's over 2,500. And then I'm going to record you a video on exactly the different methods that I used to get auto ungated in several thousand brands. All right. Now I'm going to give you a little heads up. It's going to come dressed in overalls. All right. And what I mean by that is it's work. Okay. But you're in the OA challenge. You put in the work that other people will not to get results they will not. All right. So I will get that to you guys. Is 808 better than OA sourcing for a beginner? No, I don't think so. I don't think that one method is better than another method. The best method is the method that you will stick with. That's my opinion. Zappos is on a lot of buy box of products I look at and have bought them, just hoping I wasn't making a huge error. Nope, Zappos is an Amazon owned company. Brute force ungating will work for anybody. Yes. Okay. All right. We made it just about 2 hours tonight, guys. We're going to wrap it up there for tonight. Okay. We're going to come back tomorrow fresh and we're going to go down the Keepa product finder method. Okay. Well, methods. I have 67 SOPs on the Keepa product finder. We're not going to be able to get to all of them. Okay. But I'm going to give you like 10 different frameworks that you can use. All right. And then we'll get into sourcing and a few other things. All right. And we got plenty more time. So I'll answer your questions. If you have follow-up questions, you put them in the Discord. I've got a ticketing system in the Discord now. So if there's an issue you need help with that you don't want to make public, you can throw it in the ticketing system. Like we've got a lot to get through. So let me finish taking the puzzle pieces out of the box and flipping them over. And then we're going to start putting the puzzle pieces together. I promise by the time we're all finished with this, you'll have a nice little picture. Okay. All right. I know this has been a lot. I know that we go over every single day. I do want to remind you that tomorrow at 12 p.m., we've got another fantastic guest. Jeff Storch is coming in. He's a $25 million a year seller. He is going to give us his repricing playbook. This is the first time that Jeff has ever come on during the OA challenge. This is the first time I know that Jeff has ever done this ever. Okay. I am going to be there with bells on, taking notes because I want to know how to reprice my stuff better, both for velocity and for better margins. and he's going to be one of the best people to learn that from. So we will see you tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern and again at 6 p.m. Eastern to do this all over again. Until tomorrow, everybody, have a great night, and I will see you tomorrow.